Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel where we dive deep into the mysteries that lie just beyond our understanding. Today, we're tackling a question that has captivated humanity for decades. What does the government really know about UFOs, or as they now call them, unidentified anomalous phenomena? For years, the official stance was one of skepticism and outright denial. But the tide is turning. We're seeing more declassified documents, more credible witness testimonies, and even congressional hearings dedicated to the topic. Is this the beginning of a new era of transparency? Or is it just a more sophisticated way of controlling the narrative? Let's sift through the evidence and see if we can piece together what they might be hiding. The story really starts heating up after World War II. Think about it. 1947, Roswell, New Mexico. The official story of a weather balloon crash has been picked apart for over 70 years. Witnesses at the time, including high-ranking military officials, claimed it was something not of this world. Jesse Marcel Sr., the intelligence officer who first investigated the crash site, went on record decades later saying the debris was unlike anything he had ever seen. He was convinced it was extraterrestrial. Of course, the government quickly swooped in, silenced personnel, and pushed the weather balloon narrative. Why the intense cover-up for a simple balloon? This event became the cornerstone of UFO lore, sparking a wave of public interest and suspicion that has never truly faded. Following Roswell, the US Air Force launched several official studies, most famously Project Blue Book. On the surface, it was an attempt to scientifically analyze UFO sightings. It ran from 1952 to 1969 and investigated over 12,000 reports. The final conclusion: most sightings were misidentifications of natural phenomena or conventional aircraft, and there was no evidence of a threat to national security or of extraterrestrial vehicles. But here's where it gets interesting. Dr. J. Allen Hynek, the project's chief scientific advisor, started as a skeptic. However, over the years, he became convinced that a small percentage of cases, the unexplained ones, were truly anomalous and deserved serious study. He later wrote that Project Blue Book was more of a public relations effort than a genuine scientific investigation, designed to debunk sightings and calm public fears rather than uncover the truth. So what about more recent events? Fast forward to 2017. The New York Times drops a bombshell article revealing the existence of a secret Pentagon program called the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, or AATIP. This wasn't some historical project. It ran from 2007 to 2012 with a budget of $22 million, and with this revelation came the videos. The gimbal, go fast, and FLIR videos, all taken by US Navy fighter pilots, showed objects performing maneuvers that defy our current understanding of physics. We're talking about incredible speeds, no visible means of propulsion, and instantaneous changes in direction. These weren't blurry, grainy photos from the 50s. This was high-resolution, military-grade footage, accompanied by the bewildered reactions of some of the best-trained pilots in the world. Commanders David Fravor and Alex Dietrich, pilots of the FA-18 Super Hornets, who encountered the Tic Tac object in 2004, have described it as something completely otherworldly. The testimony is compelling and credible. They saw a 40-foot-long, white, oblong object with no wings or rotors, moving erratically over the ocean before accelerating at a speed they couldn't comprehend. This public disclosure forced the government's hand. In 2021, the Office of the Director of National Intelligence released a preliminary report on UAPs. While it didn't confirm aliens, it admitted that out of 144 reported incidents from 2004 to 2021, they could only explain one with high confidence. The rest remained a mystery. The report listed several potential explanations, including airborne clutter, natural atmospheric phenomena, and advanced technologies from adversaries like China or Russia. But it also included a category for other, a catch-all for the truly unexplainable. This official acknowledgement that there are things in our skies that our military cannot identify is a massive shift from the decades of denial. Then came the whistleblowers. David Grush, a former intelligence official who served on the UAP task force, made explosive claims in 2023. He alleged, under oath in a congressional hearing, that the US government has been running a multi-decade program to retrieve and reverse engineer non-human craft. According to Grush, the government is in possession of intact and partially intact vehicles of non-human origin. He claims to have spoken with dozens of high-level intelligence and military officials who have direct knowledge of these programs. He also alleged that this information has been illegally withheld from Congress and that there has been a sophisticated disinformation campaign to keep it secret from the public. These are not the claims of some random person on the internet. This is a decorated former combat officer with top-secret security clearance. His testimony has opened a Pandora's box, prompting serious bipartisan interest in Congress to investigate these claims further. So, why the secrecy? If the government does have this technology, why hide it? The reasons are likely complex. First, national security. If they possess technology far beyond anything our adversaries have, they would want to keep it under wraps. Revealing it could trigger a new, unimaginable arms race. Imagine the geopolitical chaos if one nation had vehicles that could outperform any jet or missile on Earth. Second, societal impact. How would the public react? The confirmation of non-human intelligence would fundamentally change everything we know about our place in the universe. It could affect religion, science, and the very fabric of our society. Would it cause mass panic, or would it unite humanity? The government might fear the former and is trying to manage a slow, controlled disclosure to avoid destabilization. There's also the technological aspect. The energy source required to power these craft, if they are what whistleblowers claim, could solve the world's energy crisis overnight, but it would also upend the entire global economy, which is heavily reliant on fossil fuels. The powerful interest vested in the current energy infrastructure would face an existential threat. Could this be another reason for the secrecy? To control the rollout of such revolutionary technology and prevent economic collapse? It's a compelling argument. So the implications are staggering, and it's understandable why any government would proceed with extreme caution. Let's consider the counter-arguments for a moment. Skeptics point out that many of these claims lack hard, physical evidence available for public scrutiny. We have testimonies and videos, but no piece of a craft for independent scientists to analyze. They argue that Grush's claims are secondhand, and that until we have direct evidence, it's all just hearsay. They also suggest that these could be advanced US drones or secret prototypes. The government might be hiding its own technology, not an alien's. This is a plausible explanation, but it doesn't quite fit with the testimony of pilots who have been flying for decades and say these objects defy known physics. So, where does this leave us? We're at a fascinating crossroads. The stigma around UFOs is dissolving. It's no longer a fringe topic, but a serious subject of national security and scientific inquiry. We have credible witnesses, declassified footage, and official government reports acknowledging the phenomenon. The question is no longer, are UFOs real? But what are they? The government has shifted its position from nothing is there to something is there, but we don't know what it is. And now we have insiders like David Grush claiming they know exactly what it is and that it's non-human. The truth is likely buried under layers of classification and secrecy, but the cracks are starting to show. The coming months and years will be crucial as Congress pushes for more transparency. Will we finally get the answers we've been seeking for over 70 years? Or will the veil of secrecy remain? One thing is for certain. The conversation has changed forever, and we're closer than ever to finding out what the government has been hiding in the shadows. What do you think? Is this all leading to the biggest revelation in human history? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive. If you enjoyed this exploration and want more content that questions the official narrative, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to ring the notification bell so you won't miss our next investigation. Until next time, keep looking up and keep questioning.